Hello and welcome to this episode of the Retail Is podcast. I'm your host, Joey Morgan, joined as always with my co-host, Kylie Ross Cyber. And today we have Mark Bernecker of Cloud9. Mark, welcome. Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me, Joey and Kylie.
Well,
Happy
let's
Friday.
get into it. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what Cloud9 is? I mean, that with that name, you could be a lot of things. So what is Cloud9?
And it's a popular name out there for sure. I mean, if you Google it, it's all over the place.
I did that. That's exactly what I did when you were on the show.
Yeah. There's even a kids like jumpy place, bounce house type deal on the south side or something like that. So, Cloud9's definitely a popular name, but we're a hosted voice over IP, basically a phone company. So our phone system is powered by the internet. And we're local. We're out of Williamsburg, but we cover national.
Interesting. So what would someone go to you for?
Looking for a different type of communication system. And, a lot of people come to us, particularly smaller businesses where, companies have been so stuck with, the conglomerates here in the United States, like here, in the Hampton Roads area, Cox Communications, Verizon or Comcast, and you're kind of pigeonholed with whatever product offerings they have. And with us, we tend to reduce telecom costs for small businesses. Plus, we can give them more flexibility in their communication systems. And what I mean by that is, our platform just does not need to be the traditional business phone on your desk. It could be done. It could be a mobile app, or it could be an app right on your laptop or your PC.
So that would have been quite handy through COVID when people weren't necessarily in the office.
Yes. Yeah. And actually just a real interesting stat for us anyway. And I think this is probably industry wide, but when COVID hit, in the first 48 hours, we converted 80% of all of our customers to home office. So the 20% of customers that did not convert were like, companies that had to go into work. So healthcare facilities, obviously, none of your like, automotive related businesses like gas stations or body shops. Right. None of those places closed. They were all going to work. Electricians, plumbers, all those people were still going to work. But that being said, some of those businesses, they didn't have to send their office people in to make the to make the business go. They were able to stay at home. Yeah. And it cost them nothing. It cost no one anything for us to convert them to home offices.
So therefore they can easily switch back if they needed to, or is they sort of now, what's the trend? Are they coming back in the office or are they staying at home? What do you say?
So we primarily deal with small business. That's the most of our portfolio, and the majority of the small businesses in our network, most of them are back in the office. I'd say the ones that are not back 100%, from a small business standpoint, are more of your professional service related businesses. So like law firms, CPA firms, some of the financial services businesses. What I'm hearing, if people want to be back in the office, they're back in the office. If they're not comfortable being back in an office yet, they're still working from home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been hearing that myself. That's interesting. Yeah. So I don't know how involved were you when the business first came about? And when was that?
Yeah. So this Cloud9 evolved out of a company called Telemax, and Telemax was founded in 2002. Telemax was a structured cabling company. So basically the company started out providing the cables needed to have, computers and phones. Whether that was whether that was new construction or a company upgrading how it was using its technology, they provided the the cables and the data networks required to make your phones and computers work. As that company grew, they grew into the phone system side of the business around 2008. Then right around 2010, the two owners of Cloud9, they're both engineers by trade, and they saw where the communication world was going, and that was heading in the direction of voice over IP, so hosted phones using the internet as the backbone, not your traditional copper lines. And so they sold off Telemax in 2012, and Cloud9 became the new full-time business in 2012. So we've been doing purely hosted phone systems since 2012.
Gosh. And so, I mean, what do you see? Do you see that trend sort of continuing, or is there other technology that's coming out that may supersede this?
So yes, the trend is going to continue. And if anything, COVID has amplified people migrating over to the cloud, to the internet for their phones, because with the cloud, your phones never go down. With your traditional phone systems that used analog, the copper lines, if there's a power outage, you lose connectivity. So someone could call your business and they get a busy signal. They don't even get a voicemail. Using the cloud, if there's an internet outage, when people call, no matter what, they're at least going to get a voicemail. So people, will not call, get a busy signal and think, oh my gosh, this business is out of business. They're at least getting a voicemail. But we have the phones routed to a mobile device. So as long as we have your business set up as a backup to go to your mobile device, you never lose your phone. So people are going to that. I mean, people need that. I mean, that's kind of a requirement in communicating today. You cannot have a business where your phones go down for 2, 3, 5 days. And this is what's happening to some people. There was an outage in the Newtown area of Williamsburg with Cox Communications about a month ago, where 80% of the businesses in the Newtown area had no phones for 3 days.
Yes.
So if someone was calling that business, they were getting a business signal for 3 straight days. So people, those employees in those businesses, not with us, were scrambling using their, the personal phone numbers to like run people down. And those customers don't know how much business they lost, because, our mentality today is if we call you and we don't get an answer, you have a very short window to accept our call and or reply, or we're moving on. We just don't have the attention span for it anymore. So you got to have that backup. Then I think what's going to get even bigger with the cloud technology and cloud phones is once we convert over to 5G technology, everything is just going to get amplified, from a hosted phone technology. So yeah, we're seeing, I've seen some really cool technology that's coming down the pipe.
Yeah.
Through some of the companies that we partner with. We have we're a beta tester for Microsoft. So Microsoft has some really cool stuff coming out. And the cool thing about all this technology is 10, 20 years ago, you had to be a massive enterprise to have this technology because it was so expensive.
Yeah.
Today, anyone can have it. A small business can have it. It's really awesome.
That is. I have a question. What are your guys' thoughts, or what are your thoughts on sort of the trends? I know as far as the younger people, like, people don't like to make phone calls anymore. Do you have any strategies for that?
Yeah,
I'm trying to think the last time
so,
I called a business as like a consumer, and it has been like a decade.
Yeah, it's so the platform really, I think, where everyone is heading and needs to head if you want to stay viable and competitive, is with business SMS, which is basically texting services, a texting platform, having texting automation. and chat automation built into your website, into your, if your company's using a CRM to manage the business and communicate with people, you have to be on the ready to communicate. And particularly with what you're saying, Joey, is like, um, millennials and younger now, if you're not connecting with them via text or some sort of chat or social media feature, the probability of them picking up the phone and actually having a voice conversation with you initially is like slim to none.
Very true. Do you guys do that? Offer SMS and all that
We
stuff?
do. We do offer SMS. So it's I would, it's been a little bit tricky with small business. I think large enterprises know exactly what you're talking about and are referencing, Joey. Smaller businesses are still a little bit slow out of the gate. And the reason why is that technology is still evolving, and because it's still evolving, the price point can be a little bit tough for some small businesses. But I think more and more people are realizing that like if you do not get your business in that direction, it could break you.
Yeah.
Kylie, do you have anything to ask that before I get into this little acronym quiz I want to go over with him?
I mean, getting into this arena from where it was into more of the cloud rather than the sort of the cabling. Where is your niche? Like that's your niche. Is there other people locally, or did you say, oh, okay, nobody's doing this right now? Like like the entrepreneurial side of things, like with the owners doing that, do you know what made them do that, and what sort of what happens with the decision making then? Because I know that when there's a flood of people coming into the market with new technology, it's very hard to sort of stand out. So how do you guys, how did you know that,
Well, that's a great question. So, I would say that because they were tied to the traditional phone systems, which was the copper wire and the labor side of cabling, back in around 2009, 10, the Great Recession time frame, you could already see massive shortages happening with copper. Like, so something had to change just from what you needed to make the phones work standpoint. And copper is very, very hard to find. I mean, so hard to find, people steal it out of construction sites to sell it on the black market. They saw that going on. And so the one founder is a mechanical engineer. All of his education's in mechanical engineering. So everything structurally that needs to be built out and done. The other founder is a computer engineer. So those two minds coming together alike, we're like, okay, this is all going to have to be done differently. We can either watch and be like, oh, this is really cool, or we can be a part of it, and dive into it sooner, versus later. And they took the route of diving into it sooner. They also took the route of focusing primarily on small business. I think part of it is they were a small business, up until the point of starting Cloud9, and they saw a market, and just a demographic that was going to need this technology and not focus on the enterprise stuff, because everyone's after the enterprise stuff. Get the big companies, big money, whatever. The America's built on small business. So their target market is literally small business. So, and I'm new to Cloud9. I started 16 months ago. And, what I've learned in those 16 months is really on the small business front. We don't have tremendous competition for a business of our size. Our competition is still being really pressed by the big guys. So, again, here in Hampton Roads, Cox Communications,
Right.
and the reason is, that brand has been around forever. And if you're from here, if you need phone, internet, or TV, there's only one place to call. You're going to Cox Communications. So for us, our biggest challenge is, just getting those customers to realize that you do not have to rely on one company anymore. And once we get their attention, we can show them that we audit, basically what they're paying, that provider right now, break things down, and those big companies, they have a real knack for hiding things in different areas. So people don't really know what we mean. And in 15 to 20 minutes, we can literally peel out like overcharges people have been paying for years that like don't mean anything, but they think it means something. It's just, it's unfortunate, but it's a reality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sort of happens in the credit card processing, I think, as well.
Yeah.
There's always, just hidden things or things that you think, oh yeah, that's fine, but nobody ever questions it.
Yep.
Yeah.
It does need people to really point that out. So that's good.
Yes.
Oh, that was interesting. That's why I sort of
Very
asked the
interesting.
question.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joey, did you want to?
Yeah. So I figured, well, we have you here. We have an expert. Why don't you tell us some of these acronyms and what they actually mean? Because everybody's heard SMS right now. What does it stand for?
So that's so business SMS is oh gosh, I'm going blank on it. You got one.
I got a lot of them. No.
Single message service.
Single message service.
Yeah, so it's just a direct
really
message.
Complicated.
Yeah, same. I was expecting something way more complicated than that. Okay, voiceover. We talked about it earlier. VoIP. We got the voiceover part. What's the IP?
So it's voice over internet protocol.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Now, this is one.
Doozy.
Here we go. This is fun. Kylie, if you know this, we'll just see if you know this one. We'll just ask Kylie first. Everybody knows this term, but what does it mean? Wi-Fi. What's it stand for?
You're asking me. It's something to do with.
I'm asking you first, and then we'll get over to Mark. We'll give us the answer.
Something. Wireless. Firewall? No. I'm not sure what the heck I.
Gosh, you're hitting me with some doozies. I did tell you I'm not like a tech guy.
I know. Wi-Fi, wireless fidelity. I don't know.
It's wireless internet.
Oh, they're two.
What is the FI? That's a great one. Gosh,
it's something we hear all the time.
I'm gonna
forget what the other two part. Why? I forget. I'm actually looking it up.
Yeah, it's just as a wireless technology. So, family of wireless network protocols.
It just sounded good, so they just went with it. It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah. So that's interesting.
Really? All right, everybody's on their phones. For people listening, that's what we're doing right now.
Yeah, I'm like, what does that mean? I should have had Andy on here.
Oh, wireless fidelity. Oh, you are right, Joey.
Oh, I was right.
Yeah.
Look at you.
Look at me.
That's a good
All right,
one.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Coined by a branding company. It only caught on in its abbreviated form. Yeah, well, nobody's going to say wireless fidelity every time they say when they want to talk about that.
Yeah, and I've always called Wi-Fi. Never.
Yeah, exactly.
I knew it came from somewhere.
Exactly. Well, there we go. We learned something interesting today, everybody here. And apparently I knew it, but didn't know it.
Yeah, the voice over IP one I knew for sure. The other one, yeah, not so much.
So how local are you guys? Are you strictly Hampton Roads clients? Or?
No, we're not. We're actually, so the one founder is in Williamsburg, which is where I sit. The other founder, so Rodney Williams is local. He's in Williamsburg. The other founder is a gentleman by the name of Andy Chupa. Him and Rodney met in Richmond, where Rodney founded Telemax, and Andy was at VCU getting his undergrad in computer engineering, and came to work for Telemax basically as an intern. And that's where they were like, hey, we got something here. And Rodney offered Andy an opportunity to help him start up the Cloud9 side of things. And Andy wanted to relocate back home. So Andy lives in Toms River, New Jersey. So, we have, I'd say our biggest grouping of customers is between Virginia Beach and Toms River, New Jersey.
Okay.
Which, Toms River's not terribly far from the Philadelphia area. So we do a bunch in the Philadelphia area. We recruit what we call partner agents, and those are basically independent IT companies or IT professionals that work with small businesses to help them with their computers.
Mhm.
And when those businesses are working with a customer, they're on the front lines knowing when a company's phones and technology is going bad, and they'll refer companies to us as being their phone provider, and then we'll go in and we'll have to convince that business that we're the right product for them, of course, but they make that introduction happen. And we've got some of those individuals all over the country. We got a partner in the Chicago area that we do really well with. We actually have a partner in Hawaii.
Oh, nice.
So with what we do, we can we can go anywhere. Cloud9 as a company, we are 100% virtual.
I guess that is the whole point and benefit of the cloud, is being able to do
Yeah.
it from anywhere.
Yeah, we are not. We have no physical corporate headquarters office. We all work out of home offices. So we don't have to store any equipment. Everything we do and the everything that we build is right over the computer.
Mhm.
So all we need to have is an internet connection, and we fire up the phone system at the customer site. So we'll if it's local, we will go install the equipment,
Mhm.
set up the phones up, set up the the switch and the router that's required to make everything work. But all the pre-programming in the phones and the router and switch, that's all done virtually. So everything's shipped on site. We open the box, plug it in, and go. Everything's
So
programmed.
is it a
So-
normal looking phone, or can you choose to have more of a cell phone looking phone? Like,
Great
Virtual
question.
business.
No, it's a standard office phone. Actually, my cords are too short on this one to show you, but it's a standard looking office phone. And with the standard office phone, you also get an app that goes on your mobile device, which mirrors your desktop phone.
So you'd be able to do it all from your mobile device if you chose to.
Yeah, you absolutely can. So if I'm on if I was having this conversation with you guys on the phone and I was running late for an appointment, I can hit star 38 on my mobile app and keep on talking and walk out.
That's nice.
Vice versa. If I was in the car and I'm home and I want to get off my mobile phone and jump to my desktop, I hit star 38 on the desk phone, and instantaneously the call moves.
and you mentioned something about connecting to the computer. Is that part of
Yeah.
the technology?
That's the third way you can have the phone. It's an app. It's like the app on your phone. You have an app on your desktop, and it's your mobile device.
So I can talk through the computer.
You can. Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah,
I do it all the time.
Mobile, I mean, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
that's nice.
Is there
Then
any
our-
other technology that comes close to this?
What's that?
Is there any other technology that comes close to this?
Not right now. I mean, we're not the only provider that has it, obviously, but that's where everything's heading. I mean, I think for a lot of people, the whole desktop phone is not even needed anymore. Depending on what you do, you don't need it. I got my mobile phone, I got my laptop. I don't even need that desktop thing.
A lot of people agree.
Yeah. So it's depending on the type of business you're running, you probably will still have the need to have some sort of desktop phone. Like if you have an administrator or receptionist that's handling a bunch of extensions and people, it's probably going to still be easier for some time for those individuals to have that traditional office phone there.
Mhm.
Anyone else that's working independently in an office, they really don't need it anymore.
Yep.
So you could actually do away with the desk phones completely with this cloud service.
Yes.
Just have a mobile, have the desktop if you want
Yeah.
it, but set it all up just using someone's mobile phone.
Yeah, we've customers doing it now that are already going there.
What if that service provider, is it to do with it's just a totally different app on the phone, like it's not connecting through your telephone mobile service?
Yeah, it's a free app that you download that's built specifically for our service.
Okay.
So, and it's on your mobile device, but I mean, you're still paying for your mobile service.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to have that connectivity for it to work.
Right.
But there's no additional charge on the app front. I mean, it's just included in the bundle.
Awesome.
in what we provide.
Right. I'm sorry I sound so ignorant about the whole thing, but you know, I really have not been exposed to this at all. So this is quite interesting to me.
It is. Well, we are running low on time though. So anything you'd want to say at the end? Anything you want to ask him, Kylie or Mark? Anything you want to get out?
I think on my end is just getting the message out for people to realize there's other services outside of the large companies in your area that in most cases is going to save you money. You just got to take it literally takes me like 15 to 20 minutes to show people like a cost savings. It's just taking the time out and to take 15 minutes to potentially invest in your communications for your business. Because if you're not staying current, you're not going to be relevant, and it's that simple. At some point, you got to make a smart business decision and take a time out for yourself, or technology is going to pass you by. And that's the biggest thing small businesses need to realize. As an entrepreneur, you got to be dialed into everything that makes a business go, not just your business. And technology is one of those things. So if you're not paying attention to technology and communication technology, the generations coming up are going to pass you by and you're going to be irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
So
great advice. Great advice. How do people get a hold of you?
Mark at getcloud9.com or 757-941-6981, I think is the best direct number, and you can call or text that number.
And if they wanted to check you out on the web?
www.getcloud9.com.
Awesome.
And I'm on LinkedIn. I'm a big LinkedIn networker and user. So if you look up Mark Bernecker on LinkedIn, I'm out there. Love to connect with everyone.
Great. Well, thank you, Mark, so much for being on the show.
Yeah, this was fun. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Mark.
I got to study up on some more acronyms I learned.
Next time you're on, we'll quiz you more. I'll have another list.
Yeah, that sounds great.
All right. Thanks, Mark.
All right. Thanks, guys. Have a great weekend.